Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us once again. I'm Daniel Cook, your host for the English News Edition, in which we prepare a translated version of the Albanian news for our English-speaking viewers. In today's news, it seems like the Albanian government has not given up on the idea of sending Visar Zhiti to the Vatican. After the president refused to appoint him as ambassador some weeks ago, the government has appointed him as charge d'affaires to the Vatican. Some sources have confirmed that the decision was made by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at the beginning of this week, and that the Vatican has already been officially informed. Zhiti is expected to start his work in the Vatican very shortly. Ora News has been able to speak to Mr. Zhiti. He expressed appreciation for the government, which stuck to its decision to give him a representative position in the Vatican. He said, "I appreciate the decision of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and of the government, who decided that I was the right person to represent us to the Vatican. Despite the obstacles that were present, the government decided to push forward with its choice," said Zhiti. He stated his commitment to the dignified representation of Albania in the Vatican. "I will fulfill my commitments in this duty," he said. "I want to repeat what I said earlier, that the ambassador is not the director of a play at the theater. He must follow the vision of the state and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to represent a better image of the country, to expand our connections. This is true especially in the Vatican, which is a spiritual power in the world and has great influence over the morality of humanity and the justice of this world. Albania has fortunately always had good relations with the Vatican," said Zhiti. Foreign Minister Basha had previously expressed the attitude of the government that they would not withdraw from their decision to send Zhiti to the Vatican. He said this when he appeared on the Ora News program tonight, Ilir Meta. Appointing Zhiti to the Vatican as charge d'affaires was the only way to bypass the debate with the president, who blocked his appointment as ambassador. The president refused to grant Zhiti the position some weeks ago, saying that the foreign ministry had not consulted this candidate with him. The investigations continue into the allegations of Tom Doshi, who claims that there was an assassination attempt against him. Tom Doshi and the man allegedly hired to kill him, Ilir Bami, attended a confrontation session in the Court of Serious Crimes today. The session lasted for more than 2 hours. They both gave their testimonies in the case in the presence of the prosecutors. Afterward, Doshi declined to comment on the issue. Ilir Bami is the only person who has been arrested in the Doshi case so far. He is accused of plotting an assassination. According to Doshi, Ilir Bami was contracted to kill him together with the Democratic MP Mahil Fufi. This is the second head-to-head hearing session for Tom Doshi in the prosecution, after the first that he had with Mark Froku. Bami's first testimony was given on March 3rd, when his lawyer stated that he would speak during a later phase of the investigation. The prosecution will be reviewing the telephone records of the people who are involved in this case and the footage from various security cameras, which will reveal the truth about the meetings of Tom Doshi, Ilir Bami, and Fatjon Skenderai. The Ora News show The Unexposed hosted the former minister, Zhiti Prifti, yesterday evening. He made the claim that in addition to Tom Doshi and Mahil Fufi, Ilir Meta also wanted to kill him. Prifti said that Mark Froku had informed him about this plot. He claimed that Mark Froku does in fact know Ilir Bami, the person who was allegedly contracted to kill Doshi and Fufi. According to Prifti, Bami was working as Froku's driver when he was arrested. When asked about the governing coalition of Rama and Meta, Zhiti Prifti said that they have an agreement to switch their positions if they win the local elections. Prifti declared that he will return to politics and that he intends to be a member of the parliament. Prifti expressed skepticism for some of the reforms made by Rama's government so far, especially the economic reform. He called the prime minister a hard-working person, but a man with limited knowledge. The Democratic Party chairman Basha has issued a statement of thanks to all those citizens who joined in the protest yesterday morning. The head of the Democrats made the statement that Rama and Meta have betrayed the promises that they made to those who elected them. Basha said that the non-political union of the Albanians showed Rama and Meta that they must leave their office. He said, "Gratitude to the young and old who came out yesterday for the protest. Yesterday, we asked for the resignation of Ilir Meta, and we lit a fire of hope for the country in its darkest time." The citizens joined the protest in order to say that there is a way out of this situation. Thank you to the Democratic Party members who committed their time to the protest. Gratitude to the protesters for the highly democratic demeanor that they demonstrated, as benefits the citizen of a civilized country. Rama and Meta closed down the parliamentary session early because of fear. A united Albania told Meta to go, and Rama to allow the prosecution to investigate and stop pressuring the justice system. They reminded Rama and Meta that they have breached the contract with their electors. Their removal is the only solution to bring Albania out of this crisis, said Lulzim Basha. According to the IMF, Albania has one of the highest levels of bad loans in all of the Balkans and in all of Europe. In a recent report, the International Monetary Fund estimates that over the past year, Albania has reached a level of 24% bad loans. This indicator is 7 to 8 percentage points higher than the regional average, which is estimated to be 15 to 16%. The International Monetary Fund notes that despite the institutional initiatives and reforms that have been undertaken, there has been no significant improvement in terms of bad loans. They say that the high level of bad loans in the Balkan countries keeps their credit in question and hinders investment and economic growth. Macedonia and Kosovo are among the countries that have the lowest level of bad loans in the region. The bad loans are having a significant effect on lending in the Balkans, as banks are becoming more wary. In a recent report, the Association of Banks estimates that the quality of loan portfolios in Albania experienced a slight improvement in the fourth quarter of 2014. Still, Albania is among the riskiest countries in the region for lenders. The payment of debts by the government to the business sector was expected to show some improvement in this point, but the effects have not been felt. The experts explained that the initiative did not have the expected effect because businesses had a number of informal debts aside from those in the banking system. They say that the business sector has been paying these informal debts first. The IMF says that measures need to be taken to reduce the level of bad loans if economic growth is to be restored. The Ministry of Environment held a conference today to raise awareness for the preservation of Albania's wildlife. For Prime Minister Rama, the moratorium against hunting has been a very successful one. He has hinted that the ministry should consider the possibility of extending the timeline. He said, "The results of the moratorium have been very impressive. The Ministry of Environment has prepared a new program for hunting, and there are very strict rules that restrict hunting in protected areas. We need a full recovery of all of our wildlife," said Prime Minister Rama. The Minister of Environment, Leftar Koka, has described the hunting reform as one of the greatest successes of the government. He said, "1 year after the decision, the situation has completely changed. The results are very good. This is one of the most successful achievements by the Albanian government." The meeting was held in the National Park of Divjaka. The ambassador of the United States was also in attendance, and he expressed support for the moratorium, saying that it is an impressive example of protecting the ecosystem. He said, "The moratorium on hunting is an example of how governments can work with the local residents to protect the delicate ecosystems of Albania." After several postponements, the football match between Tirana and Partizani will finally be played tonight at 7 p.m. The match was originally set to be played on February 27th in Pećin because the Chimal Stafa Stadium was being renovated. The teams then jointly decided to postpone it and play it on March 12th. Then the match was postponed yet again because of yesterday's protest, but they will finally face each other on the field tonight. This is a very important match for both teams, but after losing their last match, Tirana really needs a win tonight. For Partizani, a victory tonight will carry them closer to the European Championship. Tirana will be playing without the player Alice Bakai, who is out of commission with an injury. The Partizani team is also missing a key player, who is prohibited from playing in this match because of a red card. The fans of both teams are looking forward to the match and rooting for the team that they support. That concludes our news for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time for more Albanian news in English. Thank you, and have a great night.